And I was giving you an example about the effectiveness of the food trust solution. Just to give you a demo, right? Somebody was asking how in the questions, right? How do we get that visibility? You know, talking about transparency. How do we get that visibility when a particular product is in a food supply chain, another food IBM food trust system? How do we get that? So let me actually give you a demo for that. This is a product from Maggi. We can say as a potato puree, right? This is right now live in the shelves. This is a product in France currently, right? Normally, when you buy a product, right, from your supermarket or your grocery store, what do you typically look at it? You know, you look at the in case it is packed, right? And I'm not sure if vegetables would have it, but few of them do have it. The date of packing is good that you at the max, right? And consume it in next 7 days, 5 days, best before date. You know, you'll normally see, right? So with a blockchain-based solution, what actually you get is you get a barcode on the product, right? You scan that code and you get the entire detail of the product, right? You know, you see this, the entire thing. What are the various ingredients of the system? When were they sourced from, including the date, right? The complete chain. What temperature? What they maintain? You know, in this case, in a cold storage, right? And how long was it actually stored in the cold storage, right? When was it actually taken from the cold storage to the processing facility? When did the product actually, you know, came out from the processing facility to the shelf, right? The entire trail, the entire audit trail of the food, right from where when it was reared from the ground till the time it actually landed up in the, you know, the showroom, you'll get all of it over here. The entire dates are available. Now this gives a lot of transparency, right? You are completely aware, you know, the entire life cycle of the produce before you want to consume it, that whether it is consumable or not, you know, you should be consuming it. Does it actually qualify to your nutritional requirements that you want to, right? All of it is actually captured here. That's what is the beauty of this the food plus solution provides with, right? Okay, let me go further, right? And feel free to put your questions on the chat, guys. We'll be happy to take it all through the, you know, along with my conversation. There is another solution that I'm going to talk about, which is trade lens. Okay. I'm sure you would appreciate that most of the shipment of goods, you know, is done on high seas. When you talk about international trade, international, right? Almost $16 trillion worth of goods are shipped across international borders using the shipping industry, right? And you know, what we are looking at is we are looking at a solution called Trade Lens, which is improving the container logistics, including document handling, consignment visibility, shipment workflows, not just within, but also across the supply chain. So see this, I'll skip a few, yeah, please see this, right? These are the various stakeholders in the overall cross-border, you know, shipping system, right? Like customs and authority, ports and terminals, carriers, you know, right? And then there are multiple documents which actually which get created in this entire process, right? Right from packing list to bill of lading to, you know, declarations to prepaid invoices, certificate of origin, shipping instructions, importer security filing, you know, customs clearance, commercial invoice, export documentation, import documentation, so many of these documents, right? And let me give you a small, you know, workflow. Maybe that will be you'll be able to you know, appreciate what goes. So this is actually a live this is actually the example I'm sharing is it's been a live thing which has happened. a cargo ship full of crude oil, sailing from some place in Africa to, let's say, some place towards Singapore or China, right? So what happens is, let's say ship has, I'm just picking some numbers, right? Let's say this ship has 1,000-ton barrel of fuel, okay, when it is started from Africa. Now, from its way from Africa to Singapore, the ship would actually dock in multiple ports, maybe 2, maybe 3, right? And on those ports where it actually docks, it might be unloading some amount of that fuel. So out of that 1,000, barrels or whatever, it basically offloads some 20% fuel at, cargo at one port, then 30% at some other port, and finally the remaining actually gets to the Singapore. Now, each time, even before the ship actually starts, I'm sure you would know that, right? Whenever you ship something, there's a lot of documentation which gets prepared, right? Including bank guarantee, including insurance, including invoices, including, bill of lading, all of that, right? So each time the ship docks in a port, the entire documentation has to change. Why? Because the quantity which has been offloaded and the remaining on the ship is now changed. And accordingly, the new invoices will be generated. Accordingly, the new, insurance policy will be generated. All of these documents will change. That means, in order to get the relevant documentation, the ship has to keep docked in that port for some 3, 4, 5 days, right, depending upon the traffic that port is handling, right? So that means effectively a ship actually will take normally 30, 40 days to complete that trip from some place down in Africa to Singapore, let's say, right? What this trade lens solution really was able to do was, it was able to, not just improve the data, the document handling, it really helped in actually increasing $4 trillion worth of economic growth, right? How it did that? Because you brought the entire, stakeholders, these agencies on a single network where they could foster better collaboration, where they could have true information sharing in almost real time, right? You connect all those ecosystem dots, right? And in this process, you also is for innovation, right? So you created, IBM along with Maersk created this solution, and it is live right now. It's live there on the high seas for container logistics management. And it really helped in unlocking the value of blockchain, unlocking the value of when multiple people come together, right? Where ecosystem, platform, and the marketplace, right? I'm saying marketplace, as I said earlier, right? Innovation. Now, the moment you open this sort of solution for others to consume using publicly available APIs, right? And since it's based on certain standards of interoperability and all, you can allow other parties to build and deploy your solution, the TradeLens powered applications for themselves, their partners, their customers. And overall, it brings a lot of more agility into the overall system, right? So what it really helps is, bringing those network members together so that they can do better business, quick business, and hence the overall realization of time and the commercial value appreciates, right? So this is really important, right? So you can get more details about it from tradelens.com. Again, a couple of years old solution. Now there are multiple, ocean carriers which have onboarded, including PIL, including Namsung, Bolidop, Seaboard Marine, KMTC, and initially there were Maersk, Safra Marine, Hamburg, so Sealand. They were the initial joiners to this solution, right? So a lot of people, right, including ocean carriers, including port terminal operators, intermodal operators, government authorities, right, shippers, freight forwarders, and of course the financial services providers. They're all part of this ecosystem, right? What we see is, it's now handling 700 billion events per year with 5.5 million documents per year, right? And these are going to double each year, right, with the way that things are scaling up, right? Right. So these are right now couple of these which are already onboarded. The third-party logistic providers, freight forwarders, which are the key to this, the container logistics management are all onboarded, right? And then most importantly, the laws of different countries vary. So a law for Canada customs will vary to that of Bahrain customs, right? Similarly, for Australia, the law would actually again vary. So think about 11 countries coming together, right? You have to build all of that, those complications, those compliances of each company on the smart contract. All of that is a very complex process. But once put together, it really helps in streamlining the process, reducing the overall time that a particular ship has to take in order to get the product. Really reduces all of that, right? Another good example is WorldWire, right? We already talked about this earlier, where a cross-border payment is costly, complex, and slow, right? And most importantly, the reconciliation takes time, right? Because of all the foreign exchange compliances, and of course, again, the currency fluctuations on a day-to-day basis and all that, right? This really, and most importantly, another point, you happen to pay the transaction fee at multiple ends, right? Which is a costly affair today. What WorldWire is going to do is going to clear and help do the settlement faster, almost real time. So something which traditional took 2 to 10 days can now be done in a few seconds here. Also, the overall cost per transactions are reduced considerably, so that benefit could be passed on to the end user. It also provides for an increased transparency and build trust from a reporting, regulatory compliance point of view, or entering new markets point of view. That way you increase the businesses there, right? So it really simplifies the overall clearing and streamlines the cross-border payments, the WinWire, the WorldWire system, right? Now, if you see here, there are multiple, partners to it, right? From end user to financial bodies to, governing bodies, right? The complete global payment network, including multiple banks, all of them actually are part of it, right? And what the benefit is, the transaction throughput is high, the transaction cost actually gets lowered, the settlement time is almost immediately, and yes, it's cross currency, right? So you can send and receive anywhere in any currency that you require to, right? Now let's understand how it actually works, right? So let's say somebody from Canada wants to send a payment to somebody in Brazil, right, who is expecting it in Brazilian dollar. Right? Now, let's say this ex-person, is connected to a financial institution which takes a transaction fee, right, from the point of sending, and then it actually uses the WorldWire and debits the sender's account. So let's say I'm having an account in State Bank of India, right, and I want to send some $100 to somebody in Brazil. So that money gets deducted from my account, and including the fee that I was just talking to you about. So the total amount deducted will be the fee along with what I'm looking to transfer, right? Using the WorldWire's messaging capabilities, right, the payment is getting cleared from financial institution, is converted into some digital asset, right? We're not talking about the digital asset right now. Typically, it uses a stealth protocol, right? And this asset is actually then sent to the accepting client, right? On behalf of the client, their bank actually accepts this digital asset and sort of receives into the and converts it into the digital that asset into the Brazilian dollar equivalent, right? And then they deduct their transaction fee at their end and finally remit the remaining amount into the recipient's account, right? So this entire process happens in almost real time compared to this fractured approach, if you see here, where there are multiple intermediaries sitting, at different places, taking different amounts of time in clearing this cross-border payment. This is the current system based on SWIFT, right? The SWIFT code, which is having multiple banks interacting to share. The money actually gets routed through different banks. Finally, it lands with the recipient there, right? So if you can clearly see the difference between the two approaches, the number of steps here, the number of amount of time taken over here versus this approach here, which is more streamlined, less time taking, almost real time, which is happening here, right? This provides for providing for a very efficient, reliable, and a secure way for almost real-time transaction happening across in international trade using worldwide. Okay. Okay. This is something which you might be interested in and having a look at. How are multiple settlement methods and asset types look like? How much time that typically takes, right? What's the settlement speed? What's the risk, right? So this is available over here. This is typically the overview of the platform. If you see there, underneath there is a network operator, just the way I showed you IBM IBP, right? The IBM blockchain product platform. On top of that, there is a multi-protocol sphere there, which provides for a public permission network, including Stellar here. Then you built in the key functionality of clearing, settlement, market price code, and asset issuance there. Finally, which talks to the capabilities and connected to the applications which are residing either on participant ecosystem in terms of banks, corporates, third-party services, all of that. They typically use the APIs to talk to the main solution to authorize, authenticate, and exchange the whatever value that we are looking to, whatever operation that we are looking to do on this worldwide platform. What it can do, it can provide for liquidity management, operational efficiency, revenue streams. It impacts that. It of course, it impacts the customer experience, and it increases the geographic reach for that matter, right? And of course, the system is future-proof. This is a snapshot, is a bit dated, right? Which has 73 countries, across onboarded with 48 currencies, 49 banking endpoints, and almost 1100 plus, trading pairs of this. Okay, so let me ask any questions so far, guys. Anything that you would like to ask about things over here? Okay, good. So I don't see any questions at this session. Right. So let me take you through this another solution, right, and then we'll talk about it. So we're talking about identity now. I guess all of us over here are pretty serious about preserving, saving our identities, right? Now, our identities have different dimensions, right? One, the person that we are, the unique traits that are associated with us. We call it as PII, the personal identifiable information, right? For example, my name, my date of birth, my mobile number, my email ID, my bank account number, all these are PIIs. Then the way I'm actually represented on a paper or in some form, which is like either a digital or a physical instrument, right? So our insurance company will have some ID card. My country will give me a passport, or my country will give me an Aadhaar card, which is nothing but my physical representation or my identity rendering, right? And then using this identity, I sort of interact with systems, right? I put my Aadhaar card in, when I'm getting a new SIM card. I put my Aadhaar card when I'm opening up a newer bank account, something like that, right? So three different dimensions, right? Who am I as a person? How am I represented using those identity renderings, and how I interact using those identity renderings, right? So three things, right? Now, I'm sure most of us will really, remember this, that there has been so many consistent breaches, security breaches of data stores of both PIIs as well as other information, right? And each data breach tends to be very costly, right? Very costly. And the moment you expose an identity of a person with this information, it can lead to severe consequences. Okay, this is 2017 data. Even 2020, 2021, we have seen even more data. Trying cyber attacks, trying to breach the data, or for that matter, even breaches of the data, and they could actually cost a business as much as $400 billion a year, right? Certain banks have spent $1 billion only on managing the identity solutions, right? So that costly, I think it is. So typically, the problem is is how online identity systems are broken, and individuals or organizations today, you might have remembered the typical ransomware virus which was there a while back, right? Where the identity got broken, the systems got compromised, and the hackers hacked into the the strategic installations like hospitals and other places, where they hacked into the system and said, unless you pay a certain ransom, they will not unlock the machines, right? And it was really a major trouble for the governments world over, right? The way they mitigated that. So it's really important for enterprises and traditional data aggregators to realize that they need to shift to the decentralization of the overall systems, right? But having said that, the couple of issues there are: cost, liability, and of course the most important thing is it's difficult to establish the trust, right? That's where we talk about the solution, right, which is a decentralized identity solution for trust and privacy. And not just that much, it can be scaled at will, right? So why is blockchain? Because blockchain provides or rather enables that trust there, number one. Number two, blockchain provides for that privacy, which is key to the the identity solution. And three, blockchain can provide for the scale, right? When you talk about when you remove the centralized issuers to allow the identity and the scale at the edges, right? So three things, right? Okay, so let's try to see how is it managed using those decentralized PKIs, the public key infrastructure. We'll not get into the detail here, but we'll definitely talk about sovereign, which is a self-sovereign identity network, which pushes the identity to the edge of the network. Now, those of you who are doing some research in AI and all would definitely appreciate the fact that a couple of years back, when you had to do all those image analysis, or you have to do work, play with those models that you had for pattern recognition or image analysis or whatever, you need to push the data back to the backend servers where the data was worked on with the model, and then you need to get the results, and same used to be displayed on the edge devices. With all the advancements today, we no longer need to have this back and forth of data, right? The systems are becoming, right? Today, we can have all of that processing on the edge devices, right? Similarly, we are talking about pushing that identity to the edge of network, using those devices there, right? And this really helps in establishing the trust and giving the end user the complete control of digital wallet to control the flow of his identity, right? What importantly it also means is that there is no PII, there is no personal identifiable information stored on any public ledger, right? So this is based typically. This is based on the Hyperledger Indy, which you can get more details on the Hyperledger portal. What are the major concepts here? One, it provides for decentralized identifiers, DIDs. Two, it provides for cryptographically backed verifiable credentials, the way we talked about issuing of certificates, academic certificates, like somebody has passed an MTech, somebody passed a PhD, or somebody has published some X papers. These are all verifiable credentials if they are put on a cryptographically backed digital register ledger. It really helps in actually validating the credentials. And third is the decentralized key management, wherein the user permissioning is the key. User owns their own keys, right? So they can be used. These public keys can be used to resolve and verify the interactions through a decentralized identifier, which are user owned and governed, right? So they are completely controlled by a person in case it's an individual thing or an organization, right? And they have an approach of standardization for universal identifiers there. How do they work? Typically, there is a public permission blockchain on which we have these DIDs, the decentralized identifiers. Each user signs the credential, right? And as and when required for somebody to hold or validate, the user issues credentials to the verifier, to that other organization or the other body. The other body actually presents those credentials which are provided by the user in order to get those verified, and then the entire validation happens. These credentials are accumulated over time through every peer-to-peer relationship. I'll give you a small example here, right? Each time you join a company, or each time you join a college, when you are shifting between jobs, what happens is you submit your documents for verification, right? Everybody of us would do that. We'll do that. Now what happens is the organization which is onboarding you will actually put all your documents for scrutiny, right? So normally they would hire a third party verification agencies who will actually take your documentations, do a physical verification or some other form of verification. And typically this process takes around 7 to 15 days, right? Normally if you see, even when an offer is made to you, when you are getting hired by some organization, a certain amount of time is taken by that organization to come back to you to sort of confirm that, because that, or even after joining, that process is happening in the background, right? That document verification. So these third party agencies charge, and I just mentioned, they take time, and then they also charge you on the person's profile. So something like, right, $20 to $50, even for high profile job opportunities, they even go to even beyond, right? $500, $200, $500, depending upon. So that sort of money goes into the verification of those credentials. Now think about a public permissioned identity network where all such identified records, verified records are pooled on a public permission ledger by all these organizations which in last 10 years, 20 years, have onboarded people, verified their records, and they actually commit all those records to some such public permission ledger, a pool, right? And each time somebody wants to, leverage that verified record, that organization actually pays some X dollar to the company which has committed that verified record. Think about it, it's an entirely new business use case, right? And for something which I've already paid as an organization, I will get repaid for contributing my verified record to this public permission ledger that I'm talking about, right? So that's the beauty here, right? Yeah, this is just one example of a university issuing, a degree to somebody like a doctor, and then how when he goes to a hospital, how does he gets his credential verified, in the similar manner that we just talked about. Since we are talking about a cloud-based system here, it can scale up to any number of credentials, any number of users here. So that's what Sovereign actually brings to the table. It's powered by Hyperledger, which is an open source project under Linux Foundation. It complies with the W3C for specification of verifying and exchanging credentials, right? IBM is an observer contributor to the overall project here, right? And IBM is a member of the DIF, right? Which is the foundation for self-sovereign identity providers for creating that identity layer. Okay, so I'll take a pause here, guys. If you have any questions, somebody was talking about in the previous session, right? How do I get or how do I learn, right? So again, I will refer you to this platform, IBM Academic Initiative. It's a one-stop learning platform which you can, sort of leverage to get access to all the learning contents that we're talking about. For example, in this session, we're talking about blockchain, let's say, right? Now, let me show you what is available from a blockchain's point of view over here. Okay, see this? So let me scroll down, right? There are courseware available here which are at no charge, right? Blockchain Essentials, Blockchain Foundation for Developers, which you can leverage. You can also download the Hyperledger Fabric from here. And then there are multiple other resources for learning, right? There's an ebook which can be downloaded from here. You can learn about how IBM blockchain is being used for various use cases, including supply chain, including other places here, right? In case you want to get more learning resources on Fabric and all, you can even get those from here, right? So all of these is available to you at no cost. This is a completely, no cost platform which can help you learn the way you want to. These courseware actually lead you to badges, digital badges that you can complete after you complete the course. Not just this much, there are some courses around the multiple learning technologies here, AI, blockchain, data science, automation. Somebody was talking about quantum. You can even learn quantum from here, right? Somebody who's interested about how legal industry is using technologies or how healthcare is using technologies, right? You can even go to that aspect here. Automation is something which is really people are following very keenly these days. Quantum is something which people are looking to develop their skills on, which you can again learn from here. As I was telling earlier, right? You can get access to IBM Q from here. You can download the Qiskit textbook from here. This is a complete course which you can take from here, right? You can download the Qiskit also, and then you have a various which is a use cases, and there is an educators program on quantum which you can leverage. All of that is here, right? So you can make use of all of those learnings from here. All you need is an institutional email ID to come and register here. You need to have a college provided email ID. You cannot have a Gmail, Hotmail in case to access the content. That's only you need, right? So let's say if my email ID is mnit.ac.in, let's say for example, then the moment I submit it, it shows me, my college name, and I'll be able to register here with my email ID. In case your college is not registered over here, you can always reach back to me. I can help you with that. I'm available on LinkedIn. You can just sort of ping me there. I'll be more than happy to help you. This is the URL in case you want to get connected to me. Okay, so I will stop here. Any questions, guys? I'll be now open to take those. Any questions about whatever we discussed today, or anything that you would want me to cover? Use it. Why? Because we provide licensed software from this platform for academic fraternity. This is same enterprise software that we offer to our customers, clients, right? We only make these software available at no charge licenses to people in academic institutions, so that that's the reason this platform is only exclusively for people from academic institutions. Students, faculty members, staff members, researchers, all of them can actually come and leverage this platform. You will find a lot of additional resources over here as well, right? Demos, a lot of demos are available. You can learn design thinking from here at no charge. You can get access to a lot of journals, IBM journals from here, IBM Red Books from here. IBM also offers something called as a IBM Skills Academy. This is a paid course, though it comes with a small token amount. Anybody wants to learn more about it, you can come to me and I can help you. There is a machine learning for kids also available, which you can people can leverage to teach their kids there. All of that is available over here, right? So from a healthcare point of view, there are a couple of courses. These are like 1 hour learning courses, 1 hour only, right? How do people can use data and data analytics role in healthcare, and similarly in other things, right? What you actually get is once you complete these courses, you get badges on Credly. Okay, so I'll just show you, how do they look like. Okay, so this is like, for example, this is my dashboard, right? So the moment I would have completed the what is the role of cloud on for healthcare, guys, this is the badge that I get, right? Similarly, when I completed this course, I basically got an architect's badge over here. Similarly, there are some other courses for people who are more deep into technology. Let's say somebody who wants to learn about cloud, like for example, right? So there is a course on cloud or AI or data science, which are like 3.5 hours to 5 hour courses. Let me show you that, right? You see this? Getting started with cloud for enterprise. This is like a 5 hour self-learning course. You don't need anybody's help, right? So the moment you actually complete this course, you get this badge, where's the badge? Getting started, with cloud for the enterprise, right? So similarly, these are my skills academy courses, right? So I'm like cybersecurity instructor, I'm a cloud practitioner instructor, or I'm a blockchain practitioner instructor. I've got these certificates after completing those courses, right? So all of these badges are awarded to you on Credly. You can use it on your resumes. You can use it on your social media handles. You can, use it on your LinkedIn profile. I use all of them on my LinkedIn profile as well, and my, within my organization as well. I use it, right? So once you obtain these badges, you can use them there, right? And these are available across plethora of technologies. Whether you want to learn data science or security, whatever you want to learn, you will get some, on that. See, even for security, you'll find a badge there. Getting started with threat intelligence and hunting, right? And then you have more courses on security learning at IBM Security Learning Academy, absolutely free, no charge. You can come and leverage that. Okay, guys, let me have a click at questions here. For transaction on Stellar, related crypto coins is mandatory or alternatives? Gulab, it's alternatives there, right? Is it available for professionals? No, Asha, it's not available for people out of academic institution. For them, for somebody who is out of academic institutions, you can leverage portals like cognitiveclass.ai and others, which again have a lot of free courses available. Anchit, messaging is not possible when I followed you. Anchit, you have to send me a connection request, and then I'll definitely respond to it for sure. No, Ashank, using work email IDs, this platform is not accessible. You only need to come from an academic institution. In case your institution does not provide you with a institutional email ID, you can again make a request to me on LinkedIn. I can get you a email ID which can give you access to this platform. But again, the condition is you need to be connected to some academic institution as a teacher or a student or something, right? Anurag, yes, there are multiple bodies. You can actually go and join the Hyperledger community. There is a community available which you can join. You can, leverage that. What to do if my professional college email is not registered with IBM? Please connect with me. I will help you in getting your college registered on academic initiative, so that then after you can use the email ID and you can get access to IBM academic initiative. Blockchain is connected with many e-commerce. Yeah, it is. Rashid, what is that? Let me take that question. Just a moment, guys. I'm just trying to. There will be challenges like trust can be breaches with blockchain after quantum computing. You're talking about a hypothetical scenario right now. So we are still to come to a stage where quantum computing will challenge the conventional computing security mechanisms. You are right in your thought process, but then that is yet to come, right? And there's already a lot of work happening in that space, by the way, right? That how do you actually secure with quantum on the anvil? How do you further secure, any, not just blockchain for that matter, any security, right? So that work is already happening and with multiple organizations contributing to it. Hemang, applying for jobs on blockchain technology and IBM requirement and roles, any roles for starters in blockchain technology, any internship program. So Imam, absolutely, there are a lot of roles which come up. I would suggest you follow this page, ibm.com/career, right? You will be finding a lot of career opportunities, including internship opportunities are posted here on the career page, right? That you can leverage on, right? You'll be able to get a lot of those there. Although all the internship opportunities, all the job opportunities get posted over here. Okay, it is important to have blockchain in organization. It should not be in organizations, it should be across organizations. When you are working with more than one organization, 2, 3, 4, then we right. What are the top certifications? As I showed you just a while back, there are multiple certifications available in this space, right? A few of them are absolutely at no charge, like the one that I was showing you, right? The developer one and the blockchain essentials one. And then you can also have more certifications around Hyperledger and other platforms. Those are all available there. Okay. Kishan, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I will be able to help you in this forum. I'll not be able to help you. What you need to do is, Kishan, two things. you can connect to me and I can get your college enrolled, or on the website itself, you can request for adding your college, whether you're a student or a faculty, it does not matter. On behalf of the college, you can raise a request and the same will actually get access in 72 hours, in response time. Gaurav, there are a lot of learning resources available on Solidity. There are wonderful learning resources which are available, which you can leverage for Solidity, creating those smart contracts and all. Um, sure, Anurag, you're most welcome. Okay, Puneet, how do we use blockchain in real estate? Great, Puneet. This is one area where blockchain has extensive utilization possible. Uh, right from the units which are available for selling and for claiming the ownership of the units which are already sold, plus the historical ownership of the land on which the units stand. All of that can be made on a blockchain. And not just that much, we see a lot of fudging happening on the agricultural land records. As a farmer myself, we used to have a farming land till some time back, we really faced this challenge. The khasaras and the khatanis available, through the local patwaris, there happen to be a lot of fudging in that, manipulation used to be happening in those records. All of that can actually be brought on blockchain, thus helping farmers, real estate developers, everybody in order to make the system more better for all the stakeholders. Uh, okay. Sorry. Use of blockchain is insurance. We talked about it in claims processing in a lot of other ways. Puneet, yes, a lot of state governments are doing, having a lot of projects on blockchain. As an end user, you would not even know, right? Something is there on blockchain or not. So it doesn't concern you. It's absolutely abstracted from you. Just like you would not know, right, in the entire your income tax processing system, the way you file your taxes and all. In the back end, there is a lot of AI ML backing at the working at the back end, right? With whatever transactions are tied up to your Aadhaar card or your bank account, you would not know that, but then that's still there in the back end, which you're not aware about, right? So all of that is happening. It doesn't matter whether you are coming from a BCom stream or a BA. Yes, IBM offers job roles across multiple learning streams. You can always look for relevant job opportunities for you, right? It's always possible to join IBM even if you're not from a science background. Okay. Student option is not there. Kishan, when you register on an IBM academic initiative, you can register as a student or a faculty or a staff member, right? So depending upon whatever your job role is, you can register there. If your course is not reflecting the exact course that you are enrolled on, you can pick any other course which matches your capabilities. So that's absolutely fine. Unless you are studying in some course in some academic institution and you are coming with an institutional email ID, the platform is welcome, for you to leverage and learn from here. Okay. Sandeep, we already talked about the organic agriculture scope there. Samir, you can always look for opportunities. IBM Research opens up, opportunities for researchers from different institutions. We offer a lot of scholarships. We offer grants for projects as well. So everything is available on the career platform, the portal that I showed you. Please keep checking on that. You will be able to explore, the